I'm on Patreon, and Patreon is a platform where I will upload interesting videos where you can learn astrology. And this is an exclusive Patreon only membership videos where you will get some interesting takes on Vedic astrology, some interesting learning on Vedic astrology, and a lot more secrets will be shared there.
Aries Ascendant. Mercury rules your 3rd and 6th house, and this Mercury will be in the 11th house. It's a very good placement for you. This will open up new avenues of source of income. This will bring financial relief. This is going to also give you relief when it comes to communication, especially when you are communicating with your supervisors, when you want to crack a deal, when you want to give a presentation. It is also going to be a very good time for journalists, for people who are standing up for a cause, or especially in people working in the field of politics, people working in the field of data analysis. So this is going to be a good transit for Aries Ascendant. Although Mercury will be with Sun and Saturn, but this is also a kind of placement where Budh, which is consciousness and the real message, helps you relay the information between karma and Atman. That means you will be able to follow your passion, you will be able to follow your soul, and you might be able to communicate exactly what you want to convey. But you will have to be very humble, because ego-based communication will cause a lot of problems. Also during this time, Venus will be in the 12th house, therefore giving a lot of financial growth. It is a time when you just have to ensure that when you are committing something, be it personal or professional, you will have to fulfill it. So it will become your responsibility. So speak wisely and work on your body language, work on your personality, because your personality will talk a lot. You will also be given opportunity, and there will be some corporate exposure if you're in corporate world, where you will have to face the supervisors, the seniors, and also you will have to take part in challenging, you can say, quiz of life. All that will come handy. Your learning will increase, and you will be able to outperform many people. So this is a pretty good transit, especially when I consider the Mercury being the Bhavad Bhavam from the 6th house. This can give you an opportunity to get a loan, especially if it is related to home. It can give you an opportunity to, close any dispute, bring people who will sort things out. It will give you success in legal cases and legal matters. And this is also the time when if you demand justice, you will get justice. But by any chance, do not aggravate the ego, because your negative ego can spoil and destroy things. A good time to spend with friends. Your network circle will improve. But you will also hear criticism during this time. You will also hear people criticizing your act, your existence, your success. Don't give a knee-jerk reaction. Just take the name of Narayan and allow the success and allow the karma to communicate. Be like a batsman who uses his bat to give answer to all the criticism. Taurus Ascendant. 2nd and 5th Lord coming in 10th house is also a very good placement for you. It's a time when your career will increase. You will be able to be more vocal about your ambitions and aspirations, and this is the time when the message will also go far and wide, and you will also become more and more successful, especially in the fields related to Saturn and Sun. If you are looking for any government favor or a contract with a government, or if you are looking for any favor from a very high authority, this might be possible during this time. You might also get some help coming from super bosses, or maybe you will seek justice, and justice will come from couple of levels up. So all this is possible during this time. Mercurian related career will also improve, but basically it is your 10th house, so this is going to bring in opportunities which will increase your wealth, which will also give you a chance to be with your family, maybe come back to your family city where your family is. And also it is going to be an opportunity where you can exercise your knowledge in your career. So you will get that opportunity to learn while you work. So if you want to get some certifications, you can. Just that You will have to be very humble, polite, and your work environment will be where you will have to manage a lot of things. You will have to juggle between responsibilities, and you will also have to manage and handle opposite personalities. Like you will be caught in the in between, and you will have to handle both Saturn and Sun. Nobody can get angry during this time, so you will have to take everybody along, and you will have to think about universal growth. In this time, if you chant Vishnu Sahasranam, it will be extremely good for you. You should also put your money to good use and do some charity. People who are looking for childbirth will see some progress during this time. Your initiatives will show some positive results, and on the other hand, you may also have to listen that your children are either performing too bad or performing too good. So depending upon your child's horoscope, you may hear something from their school if you are a parent to that child. And your communication to your child should be very, very positive. It doesn't matter how the child performs. I'm saying this very specifically for this angle of life, because 5th Lord is in 10th house and caught between Sun and Saturn. So be very careful on that angle, and this is the time to learn through all the experiences that you get. So if you are getting any opportunity to explore something in your career, it may be hard, it may be challenging, but if it is an opportunity and if possible for you, take it. Gemini Ascendant. For Gemini, your Ascendant is ruled by Mercury, and your 4th house is ruled by Mercury. This Buddha will go in the 9th house. So this definitely talks about you trying to fight and trying to communicate about your own dharma. So you will have to stick to the basics, the core fundamentals during this time. You will have to be very careful how you are showcasing your personality, and exactly whether you're doing what you're supposed to do or your mind is wavering here and there, and you are focusing on everything other than the one place where your mind should be. So you need to bring that focus. Mercury in the 9th house is going to increase your luck, but don't test your luck. But this can give you one incident, one event that will change the destiny, that will change, and it will be for good. So be very aware about all those triggers that will come in your life, but don't test your luck. This is the time when you have to focus more on karma. But if you read Bhagavad Gita, if you know what your dharma is, if you know what your horoscope wants you to do, and if you do that, this is the time when your lagna, that means your ascendant, becomes very much powerful. You will get to know your responsibilities. You will have to comply with them, and also it will make you very happy. It is a good time to buy a new real estate, depending on your horoscope, whether that allows or not. But on the basis of transit, it's a good time. You might hear some good news about, especially if you have a land that is in a dispute, if it is caught in a court case, if there is an agricultural or farming land, you will see some good positive news from that. People who want to travel or buy a home in a foreign country, who want to move to a foreign country for education, for profession, will see something positive during this time. This can also resolve some visa related issues in your case. But this also means that do not try to unnecessarily impose your rules, what you think is right, your principles on somebody else. You must also listen, because you should have a listening ear. Otherwise, Sun and Saturn will create problems for Mercury. This is a communication, but this communication has to be both sides, both ends. So this is the time to be more friendly, more humanitarian, and more grounded. Cancer Ascendant. For you, Mercury rules your 3rd house and the 12th house. Now, this Mercury goes in 8th house. This is a Vipreet Rajyog for you. And when you talk about Vipreet Rajyog, you're also talking about adverse situation giving favorable results. Especially if you are dealing with overseas projects, if you are willing to bring foreign investments, this is good time for you. If you want to settle a dispute between you and your in-laws, good time for you. But if you want to take any risk, definitely not a good time. If you want to take any financial risk, any assumption-based investments will backfire, because Mercury in 8th house is actually going to not perform really well, especially because of the presence of Sun and Saturn, and this creates a malefic yoke because your second lord Sun is also in the 8th house. So this calls for investment to recover any financial loss. This calls for rigorous savings and plans to increase your savings in a way that covers up any future expense or a loss. Otherwise, tomorrow, because of your expense today, tomorrow can be a difficult time. So it is better to save for the rainy days now. Now, if you see, this also can create a sudden travel, a sudden foreign trip, which can also be a burden on your finance. So be very careful on that. And when you're doing something for your business, for your career, even if you have to spend some money, or even if you have to invest some time, think it like an investment, and then you also should think about the return of that investment. You should always be very humble towards your neighbors. You might have to be available, and the society, the normal, your presence might be needed for some social cause. So be available for that. Try to end any dispute between your brothers and sisters, and try to be less egoistic. This can also create some conspiracies against you. So when you are, what you think as humor can also backfire. So be very careful from that part also. Maintain your image and try to be, as humble as grounded, and just go by the book, because your reputation might also come under scrutiny. It is a time for change. So all the transformation that will happen, just ride that wave, and you will see that ultimately the end goal of Buddha is only to take away few things from your life so that it can bring in new responsibilities and new initiatives. Leo Ascendant. Now for Leo, Mercury is a very important planet. Why? Because it rules Dhanbhava. It rules your 11th and it rules your 2nd house. So all the monetary things, the bank account, the income is in control with this planet. And when this planet comes in the 7th house, it starts bringing growth in business. It starts bringing growth in your finances. New contracts, new opportunities will come your way. You might also plan to start something with your spouse if you're married. And the role of your spouse will be very important in mitigating the risk that you might face in future. Meanwhile, random conflicts, random disturbance with your business partner, with your spouse can also create tensions, unnecessary tensions. So be careful. See, one thing is that you might also see that the partner is dominating you. You are being sidelined. Before reacting to that situation, be very clear that what you are thinking is exactly what's happening. Because you might react to a situation and later on you might realize that you were wrong. I'm not saying that you will be wrong, but you might be wrong. So it is better to have that clarification before communication. And when you're talking, you must have that clarity. This is also the time when you will face criticism. This is also the time when the surroundings will be difficult, so that you have to overcome that, and that will be the differentiating factor. Things won't be served on the platter, but you will have to work hard for that. But I think that's good in a way. Considering Mars in the 10th, when the Mercury moves to Aquarius, this will give you that enough motivation, but also you will feel bad where you are. So because you feel bad where you are, you might feel that, no, this is not the right place for me. Let me go to someplace else. Now this can be true for both marriage and your career. In your career, you can look for new opportunities, new career, new business partner, new venture, expanding your business, starting a new manufacturing, using social media for the advertisement, because advertisement will be a very important factor during this time. But in personal life, this can create ego tussles, ego battles, and unnecessary. When you bring money in relationship, and then it spoils everything. That might happen when Mercury will be in the 7th house. So refrain from any such events in personal sphere, be it marriage or be it any other relationships. There also can be some dispute with the father in certain business matters, maybe a point of view difference, maybe an opinion difference, and that can also put a brake on your aspirations. This is the time when you are humble. You have to explain things politely, also understand the other point of view, the second point of view, and do not react to any criticism. Rather, just be very patient during this time. This will be a test of your personality, and if you outshine, if you prove that you're patient, you will become successful and you will become a known person. You will learn a lot during this transit. Virgo Ascendant. Now your Ascendant and your 10th house is ruled by Buddha, Mercury. And Mercury will be in the 6th house. So this is actually a good playground for you. Why? Because you are natural 6th house. And when your Ascendant Lord goes in the 6th house, it is like a familiar territory. It is like a soldier trying to, judge the weapon and trying to ascertain the field of work. It is a good time to actually expand your territory, expand your horizon in your career. Obstacles will come, but you are always looking for victory. You're always looking for strategy and planning. So if you're strategizing everything, planning everything, if you're not scared, but you are going by the data and then planning, this will become a very good transit for you. You will have to be very careful about the 6th house effects like service and employment. So if you are an employer and there are employees, you will have to take care of them, listen to their grievances, and you will have to be very open to their criticism also. Also, if you are a team lead, then your subordinates might complain against you. So your attitude should be checked. You have to always go on a self-check. When first lord goes in 6th house, it means you are in conflict with yourself. So first, you will also have to be clear in your mind what exactly you are trying to say, what exactly you are trying to do. And when you are clear, you will be able to overcome any obstacles because you will have data to back. Remember, Virgo is all about data. Virgo is also about compassion. So you'll have to show compassion towards animals, do some service, social service, some charity. And that will also improve your happiness. The guidance will come, but then you will also have to execute that guidance. On a personal level, this will affect less, but on a professional level, this can affect you more. And when the disputes that arises, that headache that comes in your office, when you carry that in your home, that's when the problems will start. Especially during the night time, try to not bring in any communication with your family members or with your spouse regarding matters that are troubling you. If you want to discuss something, get up early and discuss. See, because if you're doing all these discussions at night, it will increase the stress level, it will increase the stress hormones, and then it will start affecting your health. So if there is a discussion that might turn out to be a very brainstorming kind of discussion, or that can hurt anyone, or if this is a difficult discussion, do it early in the morning, and that will favor you a lot. Chanting Vishnu Sahasranam and Ganesh Kavach will help you. Libra Ascendant. For Libra, Mercury rules your 9th house and 12th house, and this Buddha comes to the 5th house. So again, this is a Bhavat Bhavam because 9th Lord goes 9 places away. So definitely this Buddha will show the results of the 9th house before it shows the result of the 12th house, which is actually very good. This is good for people who want to do professional education, who want to restart their education after a gap, who wants to pursue some certification, who are in acting, media, communication world, who are in advertisement, journalism, writing. You will see that your expressive abilities will be far more honest, and it will reach to the farthest that you want it to reach. So this is a very good time for creative professionals. But then your words can also backfire. It can be misused, and you will have to be very careful, weigh down every single word and the consequence of your words, especially when you are putting something in internet, social media. Sun, Saturn, Mercury combination in the 5th house can also bring in disputes with government, with your spouse, with like in any romantic relationship or any relationship where you want things to go very smooth. It may create a course or a rough action or a rough reaction to what you expect. What you have to do is keep moving, keep hustling. This Buddha here in Aquarius is an air zodiac sign, and it is going to inflammate the air. It will inflammate the desire, and it is a good time to communicate what you want. So a lot of people do not communicate, they hide. This time you won't be able to hide. It will also make you vulnerable. So be very careful when you are doing a communication with someone who you don't trust, because you might reveal and you won't even notice. You might reveal more information. You should also be very protective about your bank account, social security data, all sorts of data, bank data, because there's a chance that there may be a fraud or a leak. So from the online, you will have to be very protective. But otherwise, this is a good transit. It's a transit where you will be feeling very happy about your children. You would have this urge to do something about them. So take initiatives, take some steps. You will also see that there will be extra expense coming your way, but you will have to see it from the eyes of investment. This is also going to be the time when you will have to take a stand for your own belief, what you believe. But then you must be also true to your own belief. Say you believe that waking up early in the morning can give you good results. So first of all, do you practice that? So what here the Mercury transit says is practice what you preach. And if you do that, you will see this transit will be exceptionally good for you. Scorpio ascendant. Now in case of Scorpio, Mercury rules your 11th house and 8th house. Now this is very crucial. Scorpio itself is the 8th lord in the Kalpurush, and now Mercury rules your 8th house, and this goes in your 4th house. So this is the time when your expectations will change, your way how you think you will become happy will change, and the definition of happiness will in a very subtle manner will shift, and suddenly you will start disliking what you thought you like, what you think you liked, and you will start liking what you think you dislike. So don't be surprised if there's a change in personality during this time. You will have to be very careful about matters related to home, because you might have this work-life imbalance and you might end up procrastinating, and then you will end up doing nothing, because this wants you to relax more. This can introduce lethargy and inertia in your system. So be very careful. You will have to be very proactive during this time, especially in your career, because all Sun, Saturn, Mercury will be aspecting the 10th house. Now, although the 10th lord is very positive, but still Mercury is all about communication. This will be like a volcano inside your heart wanting to open up. So when you are trying to be vocal about your expression, you will have to sugarcoat everything. You can't be just blank. You can't simply say blank truth. You can't speak in black and white. You have to speak the language of grey. And because you will be misinterpreted otherwise, especially if you have a weak Mercury in your chart. Overall, it is not a bad time. It is a time when there will be a manthan, the churning inside your own heart. It will force you to rethink on many platforms of life, and especially maybe because of the circumstances at your home or your need to buy a property or asset can make you rethink on many factors, especially the financial factors. So think about your investment, because any investment that you want to make is going to be good. But then why you want to make an investment? Will that investment become a liability? All that extra thought will come in your mind. So to check on that, whether that's right or wrong, you need a professional advice, and maybe you can talk to any professional person like CA or financial advisor, career counselor during this time. This is the time when you have to communicate for your heart out, but at places where you can actually get an answer. Otherwise you will end up cribbing, because it is your emotions coming your way. You might also feel that nobody loves you. You might also feel that you are alone and nobody understands you. Don't worry. If you think nobody understands you, just stand in front of a temple, even in your home temple, fold your hands and start talking to God. And you will see that communication will be heard. Because we think that nobody understands. But there are forces, there are powers who understand even what we don't understand about ourselves. So don't feel negative. This is the time to be more and more optimistic, and don't work late in the night. Use the daylight to work. And when there is no daylight, try to be a bit relaxing. Sagittarius ascendant. Now, in case of Sagittarius, Mercury is a very important planet because it rules your 7th and 10th. It rules your marriage, your career, your business. So, entire professional sector and one of the most important personal area is controlled by Mercury. And when this Mercury goes in the 3rd house, it gives you an opportunity to meet your spouse, meet your business partner during this time. It can create situation where you can take initiatives towards your marriage, towards business, your attempts to get a new career, new opportunity, to float your CV and get a call. All that might be possible. It might be fruitful, exactly not the way you want because of the presence of conflicting energies of Sun and Saturn. But after 7th of March, this will give you a lot more positive results. Now, you also have to understand that third house is the house of courage, but third house also has Gemini in the Kalpurush, which is the natural place of Buddha, Mercury. So this is the time where your courage will improve, your humor will improve, your wittiness, your smart way of handling things will give you a name, and this will give you new chance to make a new position, make a new name in society. And especially if you're an influencer, if you're a writer, if you're a creator, if communication is the area of work for you, all that is something that will become positive, and you will be able to influence and make a name. But also you can be defamed. It can create controversies. So you will have to be ultra careful on what you speak, how you speak, what you want to speak, and choose your words wisely. And it is the best time to learn a new foreign language. So you want to move to a different country, learn a language of that country, at least the basics, because Mercury is the planet of languages. On the other hand, it is also the time when you will have to be very careful about the nerve issues, the health issues, taking responsibilities more than you can actually perform or deliver will only harm your image. So be very careful on that part also. Small trips, you will have to be very careful from the expense perspective. Career related trips, working at random places, changing your office, all that will be on the card. So there will be a little bit of dynamic effect on your life. It won't be boring, it will be very interesting. It's an interesting transit for you, but it's also a transit that will bring a lot of changes and more responsibilities. And if the more you say yes, the more responsibilities will come in your way, especially if you are into employment, if you are into service. But that's not negative. It might act, you might act as a replacement, and that replacement might come as an opportunity. So take everything in a positive manner, take everything as a possible opportunity, and you will see that your life will become quite happy. Capricorn. For Capricorn, Mercury rules your 6th and 9th house when this Buddha goes in the 2nd house. And remember, this is with your ascendant lord, and this is with your 8th lord. So this is your 6th lord, 8th lord, and 1st lord getting combined in the 2nd house. That means your money will be consumed in repayment of loans, closing down on cases, payment of taxes, settling down the disputes, medical expenses. But when it does, when the money goes in settlement, you are also out of that problem. So it will be like, on one hand it will take, on the other hand it will give. It will be a very transactional kind of transit. Although a small transit, this transit has the potential to offer you great financial growth. It will settle down matters, especially court matters. You will win them. You will be in a much better state of argument. You will be able to debate with proper data. And if you are fighting for justice, then justice will come in your case. It's a very good time for lawyers. It's a very good time for legal experts. It's a very good time for corporate strategists. It's a good time for policy making, planning. And if you're involved in any such career, economics, it will be a very positive transit for you. But then you will be held accountable for every word that you speak. So you will also have to be mature enough to be kind in your talks, positive in your talks, motivating in your speech, and you have to touch hearts. And this will also give some humor. So if you are into comedy, if you are into acting, this is going to also give you new opportunity. Dubbing artists will also see good chance during this time. If you want to learn a foreign language, if you want to work for a foreign investment, it will be also help. It will also act in a helpful manner during this time. Although the health of your spouse can show some concern, so be very careful on that part. And if there is a family member who is unwell in your house, you will have to give extra attention to that family member. Doesn't matter whether it's yours or your wife's. Also, your money should be put to good use. So take a pledge of helping someone in need, especially because your 6th lord is in 2nd house. So service is how you will earn money. So not only if you are into service and service industry, it will give you growth, but also through charity and service, you will be able to you will be able to financially secure yourself. This is the time to save more and spend less. Aquarius Ascendant. For Aquarius, Mercury will move in your first house, but Mercury rules your 8th house and 5th house. So in this case, Mercury rules that speculative business. So you will have this tendency to invest in risky areas, stock market, and this can put you to gambling. This can take your reputation away and can put you into a big soup, especially in your family life. So be very careful when you are taking the financial risk here. This is the time when you will have to think and rethink about the business opportunities, how you want to do business, in which areas you want to do business. If you have been trying for a long time and nothing is happening, then you might have to rethink. See, this is the transit where you have to start learning from the obstacles, because the learning has to come from the 8th house. That means something is not happening. Maybe it is not meant for you. I'm not saying that you should stop trying, but then you also should know the upper limit of your attempts. You will have to give up few things, you will have to unlearn and then relearn, and this will bring personality change. There will be a lot of mental drain that will happen during this time. So don't put yourself under stress. Here the role of spouse will come handy, and your 7th lord being in the first house, your first lord being in the first house, and your Mercury coming in the first house is actually a good combination. But the cocktail of Sun, Saturn and Mercury is such that it will never give you anything fruitful without grinding you, without drilling you, without taking the test, and without you facing the difficult situation. So be ready for that. This can be a very good time for job change. This can, if an opportunity comes, but be very careful that it should not be that opportunity is going to bring in more office politics, because office politics is something that will take your attention and sleep away. You might also hear something about you. You might also learn something about you that will trouble you. But this is the time to not be very emotional, but be very practical and grounded. You should chant Ganesh Kavach, chant Vakratunda Mahakaya Suri Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarva Kareshu Sarvada. This mantra every day 108 times, and ask Bhagwan Ganesh to help you recover from all the obstacles. It is a good time, but then it is also going to take a test, and if you pass the test, you will be just in the right place. Pisces Ascendant. For Pisces, Mercury rules your 4th house and 7th house. Home, family, marriage, happiness, all that goes in the 12th house. So this talks about worry coming your way because of your unnecessary expense. Although Venus and Jupiter is in your first house, you might end up shopping more than expected. You might end up buying things more. You might end up investing, thinking that it will give you relief, it will give you happiness. Say, for example, you have X amount of money to buy a certain thing. But if you upgrade that by paying X plus Y, you will get a better version of it. But that Y, do you have that Y, or you are stretching for that extra Y that you will have to pay? Is it worth? That is the level of understanding that you should have with yourself. Otherwise, unnecessary expense, hospital expenses, medical expenses, business expenses will only take your attention away. Good time to travel with your life partner, good time for a leisure trip. Obviously, you will have to look on the expense side, but it's a good time to take a break. Don't get so involved in your work or in any one area of life. Focus is good, but excess of anything is bad. So if you're too focused, you need some distractions, and that way you must chant Bhagavad Gita, you must go for a leisure trip, maybe take a break, sit at home, maybe read a book that will invoke thoughts and that will make you think. Philosophical mindset is what you need during the Mercury transit in Aquarius. This is the time when your family might need you. You might have to travel unexpectedly, so be prepared for that. Renovation of your home, Vastu correction is on the cards. Do that. And the dispute in your business has to be handled very, very practically with data. And don't trust what you hear. Until you can confirm the news, don't believe. Blind faith will be very bad for Pisces. But nevertheless, Venus and Jupiter in the first house will give you that extra blessing. So chant to Ma Mahalakshmi that even if you have to spend, even if you want to donate, you should have abundance. So seek abundance during this time.